The Humboldt State Wildlife Program has seen an enrollment increase of 40% over the last 5 years. Starting in the fall of 2014, the program will institute new requirements.
The wildlife program is going to be moving towards a GPA acceptance basis, meaning those with the highest GPAs will be allowed into the program and those with lower GPAs would not be accepted to the program.
Due to the demand of environmental jobs and concern over environmental degradation, wildlife has become the fourth largest major.
Once all the applications have arrived, we see how many students that is, and if it's more than we are saying we can handle, then we will take the students that are above some certain threshold. And we're interested in using high school GPA primarily as that discriminator.
This is a very competitive structure of acceptance, and it runs the odds of excluding certain groups of society from the program, especially those who come from more challenged school districts that don't have some of the advantages of wealthier school districts.
It definitely targets lower income communities in general, or just less competent communities. And I'll talk to kids up here I know who are from more affluent backgrounds, and they've taken these classes I didn't think could be available until college.
Some students, for whatever reason, haven't gone to a very good high school, and maybe they weren't prepared to take the SAT as well as some other students, but high school GPA seems to be a more fair signature of work ethic and performance in school.
Currently, I do feel like I'm competent enough to handle what I need to in my major. But if this would have been the case 4 years ago, I probably would have been in music or theater arts or something, because I was not ready to do the sciences, and definitely not been where I'm at now, which is on track to graduate with the pre-med.
As enrollment at Humboldt State University continues to grow and demand for wildlife classes also rises, students in the future may have a hard time taking the majors that they really want. For JMC 156, this is J. Daniel Fernandez.
Like where Nevada was ranked at one point 48th in education, and I was lucky enough to go to a school for 3 years where we had physics and chemistry, but that wasn't the case at every other high school. Nobody knew what physics was, nobody knew what chemistry was. This is my junior, senior year in high school, and it was unfamiliar to them. I feel like it's a necessary evil. It's not necessarily the best option as far as deciding whether or not a person is competent enough to major in the sciences or willing to major in the sciences. One big problem is that it tests it tests your readiness in freshman year when nobody is really ready.
But it's also going to create this situation where our in-state students are now competing with out-of-state students to get into a California public institute. And from my perspective, this is really problematic. It's kind of the Stanford or Harvard acceptance method.
While something should be implemented, I don't think this is the best idea in particular.
I'm frustrated that the Humboldt State University administration did not have any public meetings on campus to address students in our wildlife program to see how the new proposals would have affected them. Perhaps some of our students who are excelling in the wildlife program would have never been given a chance for admittance. You know, perhaps there's many different scenarios, but when
Previously, the wildlife program was like every other program on this campus, and that is if you were accepted to the campus, then you could be a wildlife major regardless of any other additional criteria. Why did it change? The reason it's changed is because our program has grown so much in the past few years. It's grown by about 40% in the past 5 years, whereas HSU overall has grown by about 9% in the past 5 years. So we're growing very sharply, and we just don't have all the faculty to teach all the sections necessary to keep the gates completely open as they were. And we determined that unless we get a lot more faculty, we just can't meet the needs of the students that are coming in. Not really, except to say that you know, we're also hoping that this will actually help students be more successful. Wildlife is a scientific discipline, and so we do commonly, like some of the other scientific disciplines, get students that it sounds like a great major and they get into it, but then they learn that, oh, you know, it's got 4 years of hard science classes. I'm not really the type of person that is successful in that. And sometimes it takes students 2, 3, 4 semesters to make that realization. And then they change majors and then kind of have to start from ground zero. So we're hoping this will actually assist students in making that decision earlier and will help students be more successful. Likewise with the upper division transfers, I mean, it's just heartbreaking sometimes to see students come into Humboldt and say, I'm all ready to be a wildlife major, I've been at a JC for 2 years and I've finished all my GEs, which is great, but if that's the case, then you still have 4 years of science courses to take. So what we really want to do is to encourage students to get some of those science courses done before they get here so that they can make more efficient progress towards their degree once they get here. Yeah, for transfer students, it's intro botany, intro zoology, intro biology, physical chemistry, pre-calculus, and statistics. Those 6 courses are kind of the foundational science classes. You know, if a student could get all 6 of those done before they get here, that would be wonderful. Then they could just hit the ground running with wildlife courses. But what we're going to require now is they should have done at least 1 of those 6. I think generally a lot of the environmental disciplines are rising rapidly. There's a lot of interest in high school students and students at the junior colleges to get involved in environmental disciplines. And I think that's partly a response of, well, the overall environmental degradation that we all see. People want to make a change. They want to make a difference in the world. Job opportunities in wildlife. Yeah, so for those reasons, plus wildlife is cool, right? I mean, people, you know, marine biology, wildlife, zoology, those are some popular majors that, you know, that sound really exciting. And so it's really popular. We're the 4th largest major on campus right now.